Okay, wine cellar POV. This is in Chianti Classico, and the guy is taking out the barrel to sterilize it. He's lighting up that little white piece, which is a piece of sulfur. And when you light up sulfur, it burns with blue flames. And with that little wire, he hangs it inside the barrel, then closes the barrel. And this helps to sterilize the barrel to kill all the leftover bacteria. This is a common procedure always done before the barrels are being used again. Hello everyone, this is the 8th, is it the 8th? Yes, the 8th episode of Winemaker Reacts, and stick around till the end because we have an important announcement to make. So let's jump into it. Aging wine underground. So this is a quite controversial video. Lots of people are commenting that this is kind of stupid. I think it's just a fun way to age wine. Obviously it's a huge hassle, so this technique is not being done in a commercial level. They just dug a huge hole and left the wines inside. Regarding the aging of the wine, this process is actually can be quite okay because the wines are kept on a very stable temperature. Underground, obviously, the temperature doesn't really fluctuate, especially if it was so deep, just as it is in this video. Also very important that the wines are protected from light and they are in the dark, so probably the aging is not affected. Maybe even better because the aging slows down if you keep proper conditions. But obviously this is just a trick or a show, and it adds an exciting story to the wine. It's interesting to dig out the wines and taste them. It doesn't do any harm, but it's quite interesting. Okay, very satisfying video. This is wine racking, emptying a barrel in Burgundy. After aging in barrels, the wine has to be racked, and you just remove the sediment from the bottom of the barrel. And this can be, I'm not sure, the video doesn't say what is happening here, but this can be the beginning of blending the wine. So you just take out the wine from the different barrels and then tasting all the samples, and maybe they are actually doing the blending of the wine. Yeah, it's pretty satisfying to watch emptying these barrels, and especially this is a very cool barrel because it has this huge window. Usually most of the barrique barrels have like a tap on the bottom. Only the bigger barrels like the Bottis have usually these huge windows where you can, it actually helps to clean the barrel, and it's more practical, but it's quite interesting to have these smaller barrels with a huge window on it. Okay, so this is a refractometer, and it is a very useful little equipment that winemakers use to determine the ripeness of the grapes. As you can see, you need only just one little drop of grape juice on that piece on the front of it, and when you close that window, this little equipment can measure the density of the liquid that is placed on the lens. It measures in Brix, which is basically the sugar concentration of the grapes, and you can determine the potential alcohol level of the grapes if you ferment them based on that sugar level. So this refractometer helps us to determine the date of the harvest, but also it's very important to consider that the sugar level is not the only factor that you have to be careful about and to pay attention to, because if you want to create a balanced wine, you also have to pay attention to the acidity. So if you go over with the sugar level and the acids fall too much, then your wine is going to be dull, imbalanced, and it's going to be quite flat. But on the other hand, obviously, if you harvest too early and you will not have enough sugars and the acidity is going to be too high and too harsh, then also you are not going to get a balanced wine. So that's why the winemaker before the harvest is one of the most important period of the season. You have to pay lots of attention, be careful for the grapes to be healthy and to catch the perfect moment for the harvest. That's probably one of the most important decisions that a winemaker does in the season. But obviously another point is that this is not like an exact date, so it depends on the style of wine that you are trying to make. So it can be different for different styles of wines, but still for that wine that you are targeting, you have to find the perfect period. For example, if you are making a champagne, then you are probably harvesting earlier to keep the acidity higher, because then you have to reach with the second fermentation the proper alcohol level. And on the other side of the spectrum, when we are talking about late harvest grapes or even botrytized grapes from Tokaj or Sauternes, then we are going to even a later period and having a lot higher sugar contents, 150 grams or even 200 or even more grams of sugar in the wine. But obviously these wines are made with grape varieties that also have comparatively higher acidity to balance that out. So in any case, when you use the refractometer, you also have to keep in mind what you are trying to create. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's continue the discussion down below. If you have any videos that you would like me to react to or explain, feel free to send them to Wine Inspires on Instagram. Also, I wanted to mention that in a few weeks we are going to the ProWine in Düsseldorf, one of the largest wine expos in the world. We are going to be there, so stay tuned for lots of interesting contents from there. So thanks for watching and see you next week.
Back and I'm better than ever. I think I got a vendetta. Oh, now they call me, I seen them. All of those times getting severed. I told them all I get let up.